expecting you to say.
Okay.
Mixed mode and SQL. Because when you are installing, these are the options you will get. We'll ask you if you want mixed or if you want SQL. So this is a combination of Windows plus SQL. Okay. All right. Thank you. This is a fuller answer than just saying Windows and SQL.
Thank you, sir.
A good one. Yeah. Thanks. Next person, Jennifer. Jennifer.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Number 2.
2. What is an orphaned user?
It's a user without a matching login.
Good one. It's okay now because you are not technically a new student. I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. So you got the answer. You got it correctly. It's a user without a matching login. So what is responsible for making the login and the user not to match? There's a technical term I'm looking for. What is responsible for making a user and a login not to match? Okay, let me throw it to the old student. Old student, what is responsible for making a user and a login not to match?
When the login no longer exists in the database.
No. Let's say it's there. Let's say it's there. What could cause it not to match with the user? Assuming the login is there.
When you created, yeah, go ahead.
Can I have a try?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, when the SID, that's the security identifier, it's mismatching.
Thank you. When the SID of the user does not match the SID of the login, that's when you have an orphaned user. Thank you, Destiny. SID is security identifier. Every login, especially SQL login, has what we call SID. So if you saw the way I created a login for Jide here. I did it again. So this login now, this Jide login has a SID. And when I mapped it to test DB and it becomes a user here, this user also has SID. And by default, the SID of the user would match the SID of the login. But there are some situations that will alter that. There are some things that we do that can alter that. For example, if I come here and I delete video, maybe I'll do this towards the end of the class so that won't take time. There's this thought procedure I forgot. Is ASP_change users login. Yep, I remember. Okay. I always love to demo these things because I think it makes understanding. Why is this not tiny like this? Change users login. At God damn. I try to remember action equals reports. Yes. So this start procedure This third procedure will tell you, and I'll change my database context to testDB. With this, it will report users whose SID does not match their corresponding login. So I'm running this third procedure under this test, under this database now. So if I execute this, see, nothing is returned, which means there is no user that the SID does not match the login. Okay, now let me delete this guy. Did you delete? So it's going to tell you anytime you want to delete a login, it's going to tell you deleting the login does not delete the database user. Can you see that? That you delete this login does not mean this GD under the testDB will automatically go away. It will still be there. So best practice is that you should go and delete the user first, then come and delete the login. But how many DBAs do that? They just go ahead and delete the login. And if I do, I will create an orphan user automatically. So that's one of the ways through which we create orphan user. So it's just like the orphan, the human orphan too. The case of if is the arm robber now. Who is that? You want to say something?
Yes, sir.
What do you want to
say? You mentioned earlier that as best practice, before we delete a login, we should always unmap it from the whichever database was mapped to.
Yeah.
That's
I want to demo something by doing it the wrong way. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, sir.
If I remove it as a user, then I will not be creating an orphan user anymore.
Okay.
I want to create an orphan user and show you. I don't know. It's still saying it's connected and it's not connected.
Restart the SMS.
Okay, yeah, maybe that will work. But I would think restarting the service should kick out, but it should work now. If not, then something is. Thank you. Yep, it worked. So now GD login or login GD has been deleted, but if you come to the database, it will still be there as a user. You see? So this user now is what is orphaned because it doesn't have a login. So there are two cases of orphaned user. One case is when the login is not there at all, like this. See, the user is there, but the login is not there. Another case is that the user will be there, the login will be there, but their SIDs would not match. So now let me run that query again. That's the procedure. Remember, I did not return anything earlier, right? So let me now run it now. I didn't return anything earlier because there was no orphan user. So let's see if there is one now or not. So if I change the database context to testDB, and then I run this, see? Now it's returning GD for us, which is telling us that this GD is now orphaned. And this is the user's SID. This is the user's SID. Okay? And of course, there's no login, there's no GD login, so it will automatically not match because the login does not even exist. Now, if you now say, oh, okay, yeah, this is not, I'm going to quickly fix this by creating a GD login. Let's see what's going to happen. If I come here and I go back here and I recreate, let's say I recreate the GD login. Okay, I recreate the GD login, and I say, okay, GD login is back, right? Now we have GD. You would expect that this would fix the problem. But if I run this again, see, GD is still there. So this is the other situation of the orphan user, where the login will be there, the user will be there, but the SIDs will not match. So the fact that I created this GD doesn't mean I will automatically fix the orphan user. No, the login is there now, but the SIDs are not matching. So this is one peculiar thing about SQL login. Even with if you create the login with the same name, the SIDs will not match. The SIDs will not match. This is not typical of Windows login because Windows is in the Active Directory, but SQL, the SIDs will not match. If the SID of the previous GD is different from the SID of this current GD. If I delete this one, I create another GD, the SID of that one will be different from both of them, the two previous ones. So it changes, even if the name remains the same.